Alright, let's just go ahead and change gears pretty drastically and talk about converting fractions to decimals, or converting fractions to decimals. So let's say we have a half. Now, most people I work with are familiar with the fact that the half is the same as 0.5 or 50 cents, if you want to say it that way. And that's why I'm starting with this, is because, I want to start with something that you have accepted and then show you the mathematical way of getting there. So one of the things that doesn't get talked about nearly enough for me when it comes to fractions is that this little fraction bar means division. Okay, you can think of it that way. You can even think of the division symbol as a fraction, where the numerator and denominator are written abstractly as little bitty tiny dots. So a fraction is two numbers being divided. And so in this case we have 1 divided by 2. And then, you can punch that out on your calculator, because I'm assuming you're going to be using your calculator. And with the way I'm making this video, that would give you 0.5. Now, some of those scientific calculators will actually do the conversion for you. So let's say you have something a little bit more robust, like 32 over 49. Well, on your calculator, you can enter that as a fraction, as 32 over 49. It'll have it in fraction form in your calculator, and then you can convert that to a decimal using a totally different button on your calculator. I actually think that's more time consuming a lot of times with a calculator than just entering 32 divided by 49. And that's really what I'm getting at by having this whole conversation, is you don't have to enter it as a fraction and then convert it to a decimal. You can just enter it directly into your calculator as division. And that's once I enter that into the calculator, you're going to get a mess. It's going to fill up your whole calculator because it's going to go on forever. You get 0.65306 and some more stuff. We're going to talk about rounding here in a minute, but for now I just want to talk about this idea of converting it to a decimal. Now, I will say, on some of the newer scientific calculators, when you enter something in, even if you do it as division, it defaults to a fraction. They just really love fractions. If you don't like that, I guarantee you your calculator has a way to change your settings so it spits out decimals. So it's just a setting. There's some calculators that default to fraction if they can at all, and you can switch that to default to decimal if instead of that, if you would prefer. Or if it defaults to fraction, then there's going to be another button that forces it to become a decimal. I'm not going to address individual calculators, but that's something that you can reach out to, let's say, your instructor or your teacher, and ask them where the buttons are, maybe a tutor, because they're different buttons depending on the brand, and this video would get a lot longer if I start parsing out all the options for all the different calculators. Alright, so I want to do one or more of these converting a fraction to a decimal. I want to do 6/4, and again, thinking of it in terms of the pizza, this is saying I have slices that 4 of them make up a whole, and I have 6 of those slices. So I automatically know that I have more between, I have a whole pizza and then I have a little bit more. The reason why I say that is this is why I think it's good to have a sense of what's going on with fractions instead of just pounding stuff out on your calculator. I know I'm going to get 1 point something when I convert this to a decimal. Now, I actually know exactly what it is, but I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, when you convert that to a decimal, sometimes students, they're not sure if they should enter 6 divided by 4 into their calculator or 4 divided by 6. Well, 6 divided by 4 is going to give me the 1.5. That's the correct answer. If I do 4 divided by 6, I'm going to get 666 repeating for the rest of my life. And so that should trigger a red alert. If I understand what's going on with the fraction structure, whether or not I know its exact value, I know I have more than one pizza. And this is not more than one pizza.